All right, welcome back, traders. I'm feeling a bit better this week. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful week last week. We had some, I want to say, choppy, nothing burger price action last week. What did Bitcoin do last week? Retested the top, right? Yeah. So all we've done was retest this top. No weekly candle close above. No break, really. It's over. Pack it up. Yeah. I don't know if it's over. Pack it up, but it's looking kind of like we're going to be trading in this range here for a bit. So our weekly stochastic here is crossed up. We're about to confirm that here on the close here in about a minute. So I wouldn't be getting all super bearish right now. I mean, we are probably going to retest the mid range here at 98K. We could even come back down as low as 92K, kind of just sit in this range up here. Yeah, I mean, just looks like Bitcoin kind of ran out of some steam up here. We couldn't really get above the all-time high price. Yeah, so I mean, daily chart definitely looks like we are losing momentum. Right, we're rolling over here on the MACD. So yeah, a nice reset would be good. I wouldn't say that this is like super bearish stuff. This is just rejection of the top of the range. They could just range this thing. We could just range here. If we end up taking out this low, well, you guys know what the levels below are. We've discussed this many times on a number of different streams if we were to take out these lows here. But I would still say for now we're in the bounds of these ranges, and there's nothing really to be too concerned about until we start breaking ranges. Just like if we were to break the top of the range, right, we would have seen higher prices. So yeah, I think midline here, 98K. Bottom of the range, 92s. You got these wicks down about 90K roughly. So those look about to be intact. We have some major moving averages that are moving their way up here around 89K. All right. But yeah, I would, after a multiple attempts of a break and reject, buyers couldn't push the price through, so sellers are going to take over the price action here. Yeah, I mean, that's normal. Like, we see that a lot, right? So it's the seller's time to see how far they can push the price down. Yep, so that's pretty much it. After we got these white candles, we made an attempted retest rally or attempted push here, a failed push. And, our candles on the weekly here are still technically overbought right now. So they could just consolidate this thing up here for a bit before we maybe make another attempt because, yeah, I mean, we do have a bit of weekly bearish divergence here on this attempted push. Okay, so what? They take this RSI back down to like 70 or something. I I think that would just be okay. The monthly time frame, it looks overbought. We are overbought on the monthly time frame, no doubt. But I don't think we are at levels. We're close. We're close to touching this this bearish divergence trend line here. We haven't quite touched it yet, which leads me to believe that we might see one more push to maybe 120, 130K by like March or April. But we'll see how that plays out. We do have some deviations outside the Bollinger Bands here. Usually these mark local tops. Okay. So we'll see how that plays out. I think, like I said before, no real trouble yet for where we're at on the price. We're just stuck in these ranges up here. And yeah, I mean, you know, obviously we're getting a bit extended on the chart, but like let's zoom out to like quarterly or something. You know, our 3-month outlook here is definitely necessary to look at. Okay, yeah. So there is a trend line here on the quarterly stochastics, which will get closure on at the end of the quarter. So if we do see price break this trend line, that is going to allow Bitcoin some further upside. Okay, if we don't by the end of the quarter get any more momentum coming in, then this could cross down, and this could actually mark maybe a potential top, a topping point for Bitcoin, and then this come back down, right? And that would be a quarterly time frame, so that could take months for that to kind of resolve itself, right? But right now we got some nice separation. We don't have any cross down going on in the quarterly time frame. There's no reason to be bearish this market right now. Okay. Are we overbought? Yeah. Do we have any? We don't have quarterly bearish divergence or anything on the MACD oscillator here. Highest highs of positive momentum we've ever seen on the asset, with nice separation on the quarterly time frame. I think this all looks good for, even the 2-month looks good. The monthly also breaking or about to break this divergence here. If we close the month with higher levels of positive momentum, then there is no monthly bearish divergence. All right. So the only thing that would, you know, kind of slow us down is this RSI getting heated. Okay. But like I said before, we still got some room to run here on the RSI until we get into this trend line here, which would be around this 86 level. So yeah, we'll see how this ends up playing out. Like I said before, range bound asset right now between that 90K to 108K. That's where we're at. Kind of boring for Bitcoin. But let's take a look at Ethereum, because this thing is definitely lagging the show. And typically, if Bitcoin is going to be ranging, then there is a possibility and a chance for altcoins to catch up and rally a bit. All right. So ETH, I would say, is definitely weak. But this monthly bullish engulfing candle is still active here. I wouldn't really get too concerned until we start making closures below 2,500 bucks. And for right now, we're actually just sitting at a major support level here on ETH, right? Just sitting there. So we also have a monthly stochastic RSI cross up. Okay. Looks like it's just kind of consolidating sideways stuff here on the monthly, you know, your weekly time frame, you know, also getting this reset of momentum. We didn't get a cross up here yet on momentum, so we can't just be like, oh, ETH is going to rally. Not confirmed yet. 3-day time frame also not giving us any real buy signal yet. 2-day time frame, the same thing. Nothing really materializing there. It just looks like maybe some more consolidation up here before ETH really maybe does something. All right. That's pretty much your majors. We can look at XRP. We can look at some other altcoins if you guys want. Look at the indices too. We'll look at those in a second. XRP actually looks fine. It made a new high here. throughout the week. I mean, technically, yeah, we closed a higher candle body. I'm not really a big fan of these long wicks. But yeah, right into the all-time high supply zone. Actually printed a technical new all-time high. If XRP can end up closing above these 340 regions, I don't see why you don't get to this major $4 fib extension. And if you start making closures above that, you're looking at $6, and then maybe eventually up to the gold to mean ratio at $10. This was a big pattern. So this is definitely still in some sort of impulse. You can clearly see that. XRP looks fine from a technical point of view. Just getting a bit extended on the weekly time frame is all. All right, cool. We'll go look at some of the indices here. Let's look at the dollar. The dollar actually breaking down here. We spoke about this rising wedge that is starting to break down. It obviously is bouncing here right off this midline. This region here is going to act as a major support, as that's where it broke out from. But you can see the weekly momentum is still slated to the downside here on the dollar. That should be good for risk assets in general. The S&P did close the highest weekly candle close it's ever closed at, with a candle body close above. Very nice for the S&P 500. It did confirm a weekly stochastic RSI cross-up. I mean, you can't really be bearish on a scenario like this. This looks really bullish. S&P looking good. NASDAQ a little bit different story, right? We didn't quite... I mean, that's close. I mean, yeah, I guess technically we did close a higher candle body than we've ever closed before. But opening here below, that's not necessarily a good thing to see. But yeah, also with the weekly stochastic RSI crossing up, looking good there on regular time scale, regular candles. Look at Solana. Anyways, the NASDAQ looks fine, really. So Solana also with its attempted all-time high break when Bitcoin tried to push the other day when Trump coin was launched, moving a lot of liquidity around into the chain. It printed a new all-time high at 300, was not able to sustain that price action, and then just swiftly pulled back. But this bullish engulfing candle still active here. I wouldn't get all bearish on Solana here at all. Again, with the weekly stochastic RSI crossing up, looks good momentum-wise. Maybe a bit of sideways here over the next coming days, and then maybe another attempted push above 253. You get weekly closures above this 250 to 260 region. You're looking at a breakout on the weekly time frame. But let's look at tether dominance, because that's going to really dictate what these markets end up doing. These assets obviously look extremely bullish, right? There's no sitting here saying, "Hey, man, they look bearish." No, they look bullish. This weekly candle here on Tether is a doji candle. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily a bullish candle. This asset is in a downtrend right now. So obviously they defended this level again at 3.82. But if this starts catching follow through to the downside, then we're going to really actually eventually break this bottom range here at 3.82, and that's when I really think we're going to see, Bitcoin probably break higher, and then some of these major alts that are looking extremely bullish to continue on their patterns with those weekly momentums that are crossing up like that. So I think we're going to see some continuation if we do see continuation down here for Tether, which, well, it looks like it wants to do that. Our 2 and 3 day time frames both cross down. Our 2 days, crossing up here, but that cross up could actually be momentum to the down. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because our average sentiment oscillator here is a bearish 2 day cross. Okay. Yeah. There's no reason to be bullish dollars right this moment in time. Okay. UX Link and Casta. Sure, we'll take a look at it, man. Sure. this a newer asset? Okay, I mean, yeah, tough to kind of do some TA on this one, man. But you still have a monthly bullish engulfing candle active. I'm not really too big of a fan of that long wick, man. But okay, it's still okay. Weekly time frame here, yeah, you put in a nice doji there. This candle, man, that's that candle. That's that reversal candle that you put in there that's causing this sell-off. I would see what happens once you come back down to these levels here. It doesn't necessarily have to. It could just be extremely bullish and start reversing here. But you can kind of see that it looks like it wants to come down a bit more. The weekly RSI is bullish 55. Maybe look for that re-entry around that 45 region on the weekly. All right. I don't think you've really pulled back enough to really see value on this just yet. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these assets, what they end up doing is they do 618s or they do 786s or even 886s on their pullbacks. So I would be looking for this value zone here if you can get it on this asset. Listen, I could be wrong. I could reverse quicker than that, and that's fine. But in terms of risk to reward, obviously, the deeper the retrace, the better, right? And that gives you some really good value areas. Costa. Never heard of this one. All right, so this looks a bit better, right? You're kind of more low risk here, right? You're not just up and to the right. You went up and to the right and you pulled back. You almost pulled a weekly bullish engulfer and just kind of got rejected there. Yeah, so if you wanted to take a trade on something like this, let's just say you wanted to enter here. You got a tight stop here at 20 cents, or sorry, not 20 cents, at 1.9. You can even lower it below the wicks here. This 1.7 region just looks really like the area where you want to maybe look to pick this up. That's if this doesn't start to see it follow through here, which it very well could. You got a 2-day buy signal, all right? So your medium time frame here looks like it wants to maybe push. Your 3-day also giving you a buy signal. All right, man. So your 2 and 3-day charts look good. Maybe look for a bit of sideways, maybe another retest of this low before taking a potential trade. But that looks like it looks like it wants to maybe make a higher low here and pivot and rally. Okay, that looks decent. I'll say that looks decent. Okay. We're going to take a look at some of these virtual coins, all right? We'll look at XCN. Yeah, we'll look at XCN. Did that thing rip out? Oh, that was the Onyx coin from last stream. Oh, yeah, beautiful. We talked about this, that this looked great, right? We spoke about this. I think Flappy were talking about it last stream, right? Descending broadening formation, right? Nice break to about 4.9 cents, this region right here. I remember this was in a nice squeeze. Yeah, this looked great. I remember last stream covering it. Squeeze broke, beautiful. These are definitely profit-taking levels up here. Yeah, and eventually you probably get to like 17 cents, but what could happen is you could just get, because you're straight up, and I know you're in an impulse. Chart too small. Is anyone else having that issue, or is this just this person that can't see what I'm talking about? Anyways, I don't know who Lisa is, but thanks for joining the stream, Lisa. I think you're a new viewer. Appreciate you tuning in. So what I was saying was these are definitely profit-taking levels up here. If you were, entering off this initial break here at sub, whatever, 001, you're like 30 or 40x your money, on something like this up here. Can it go higher? Yeah, it can go higher, man. I think it can go resolve the whole pattern at 18 cents, but what could happen is you could get something like this where you pull back to, a previous level and reset before going higher, right? And so that's what you kind of want to look out for. Don't be buying into stuff like this already that broke out like that, okay? Listen, you guys do whatever you want to do. It's your money. But in terms of risk to reward, it doesn't make sense to take a position on this right here. Okay, if you're already in the trade, that's something completely different. You know, but usually when an asset rips out 30x, you want to be de-risking into that, taking some profit, looking for reaccumulation or, you know, some sort of structure that it's rebuilding a base. It's an impulse. So I wouldn't be looking to buy something like this. Even if it just continues to break, it can, because there's not a lot of resistance here. Like there's really nothing up here. And if buying momentum continues, well, it's going to continue higher on the price. But to me, what this looks like is it's extremely overbought on the daily. The 2-day time frame is also probably overbought. Your 3-day is probably also overbought. Yeah, it's the highest RSI level you've ever seen on the asset. It's at 100. Okay, it's at 100 on the 3-day RSI. It's time to take some profit if you have it. All right, don't be greedy, man. Don't be greedy. Cool. This chart looks fantastic. Beautiful breakout. Nice structure. This thing probably is eventually going to resolve itself higher later on after a nice reset. Beautiful, Flap. Great work, bro. Great work, man. Good job. All right, cool. So we covered some of those. One of my buddies was looking for me to cover some of these virtuals coins. Well, so we're going to take a look at some of those. Let's see. I believe it was like Convo and Game Token. Those were the virtuals. Let's see. I have not looked at them in quite some time. So let's pop them up here on the chart. Here's the Game Token. This thing is down 20% today. I recall this asset went on a major rally, a major run, and now it's just giving it back. Okay, and that's typical after you've seen just up only with no consolidations, just, you know, huge 70x move, man. I mean, like, what do you want from this thing after it does something like that? All right, so you do have, you know, a pretty big level here, I would say, this 1 penny range. I mean, yeah, man, that's like another huge drop. There wasn't a lot of traded price action here, and these weekly candles are just up only. So yeah, I would say this 1.6 region, if the selling continues here, which I don't see why it can't, with up only, you get down only, right? With sideways and consolidations and supports in between, you get pauses in the selling because there was previous price action there, right? So like something like this, it would make a lot of sense for this to give a nice reset, a nice full reset. Yeah, your daily's already looking like you know, in the buy zone here on the daily. You could probably start nibbling a long-term position if you want when the RSIs are oversold like that. But I just think that something like this is going to definitely pull. It hasn't even pulled the 23.6% retracement yet. So like as bullish as of an asset this actually is, I would be looking, you know, in this region here where there's these supports. There's no other supports on these charts, just up only, man. To me, this looks like a massive rising wedge type of structure that broke down, right? And you know, usually these break down to the bottoms of the wedge. But if it's a hyper bullish asset, it doesn't need to do the whole move. It could end up doing maybe, you know, half the move. You know, it could get. I mean, that's still a pretty significant pullback for this thing if that happens. We're going to see bounces along the way. It's not just going to go straight down here, but that's like another 90% drop. I don't know that that's going to happen. Maybe I'm giving too bearish of a target here on this thing. But man, that thing looks like it just needs more room to breathe, man. It needs more room to breathe. Yeah, we'll take a look at DOT here in a second. All right, so that your next major Fibonacci level here is the 236 at around 3.6 cents. Yeah, we'll check Trump coin. The other one I wanted to look at was Convo. Where is that? Convo. Yeah, all right. Similar thing for this. This is another major virtuals coin. At least this thing had some sort of structure with channel or whatever. Like you got that nice bounce and then broke the channel, back tested as resistance, and then looks like, yeah, I mean, when you break this level, you're looking at, a penny. You break a penny, you're looking at 0.08, and then really there's no real supports until like these regions here. I would say there's a little range here that you like tested and pulled back to, but this order block right here looks to me like the most support that was put in on this chart, anywhere from 0.001 to this region here around 0.015, which again is like another 90% drop. I don't know that these assets are going to go down that far, but man, if I was looking to buy this thing, I'd be looking for the best possible price, right? So yeah, I mean, it's already 8-hour oversold. It's already daily is already, approaching buy territory here on 36 on the RSI, but yeah, you could probably slowly start to, build positions as they come into these levels here. But yeah, that's how I'd be strategizing entering something like this. You could also see that the volume is receding, which is good. Usually that means the selling is about done. So you got some levels there to pay attention to. You got this down-sloping channel, this up-sloping channel you broke. It got sold, right? So that's typical after you break a long-term channel up like that. Cool. We'll look at Trump coin. I think it's on my list here too. All right, yeah, 27 bucks. The old Trump and dump, huh? Nice. Again, no real structures here on this coin. Just it went up only. It just impulsed after it launched. You have this little micro level here that we've been range bound in here. That's kind of acting as some sort of support resistance. If it does end up taking out this low here at 24 bucks, I don't see anything but up only. You might catch like, fruit fly wicks here at 15 bucks as a support or something, but that's not like a real level. These aren't real levels. Like they're just like market makers making them as levels or something, I'm personally not touching this coin. I don't really see any real strategic play on it. I mean, if this ends up double bottoming or something and it puts in a nice 4-hour candle or 8-hour candle or even a daily candle there, you could argue, taking a trade. But right now, this was just a back test of 32 bucks as resistance, and you're probably going to see follow through to the downside on it. I don't see any real bullish activity happening on this chart right now. Unless Trump announces something like hyper bullish for crypto or something that might cause a reaction on this coin, or really in the market too, right? But I think this coin would react to it specifically because it's Trump's coin. So I'm just telling it like it is, man. Yeah, 15-minute RSI oversold. Can you scalp it? Yeah, you could scalp it. Where could you scalp it to? Probably at the top of this range, 29 bucks. See what it does there. If this ends up being a higher low double bottom and it turns into something like that, then beautiful. Then you got a stop loss, right here below, 26 bucks. I'd probably keep your stop pretty deep below this $23 region if you're in a spot trade. Give yourself some room, and then give yourself some room for upside targets on this thing if it does break back out. All right, that's your Trump. I think AI16Z, one of my buddies, was also asking about. Take a look at that. That was also in a rising wedge breakdown. Yep, starting to see that fall through the downside. We've only really tagged the first Fibonacci level here. We got it bounced, dead cat. We just came back down to that level. I think this definitely has more room for downside potentially. I mean, your 12-hour RSI is telling you some things like, hey, man, we could see a reversal here. We could pop back up to the top of the range again and see what happens there. Yeah, I'm not saying none of that is possible. I'm saying it just looks like if you go to the weekly time frame, it looks like it's a bit cooked. looks like it needs to cool off a bit. Like give us a nice, 382 or even a 50% retracement. This level right here looks like a pretty strong level. Like it used this level as support a couple times before just up only. So yeah, volume is receding as well. So maybe selling pressure is also weaning there. It was trading around $2.40, now trading 76 cents. Or at a significant discount for a major Dow AI fund in the space. Cool. Any other assets you guys want me to look at today, that come to mind? We looked at ETH already earlier in the stream. Toshi, Sui, Rivian. All right, we'll look at Rivian real quick. Rivian doing a back test. Yeah, it's back testing the support region right here. I don't know that is going to hold. Trump is not an EV guy, man, so I don't really know if these stocks are really going to perform that well in this environment. 3-day kind of giving you a sell signal. Your weekly here is also kind of rolling over on the RSI. You could take a shot at support. I just, if the momentum isn't pointing up, and it's pointing down, why would you fight that? Just let the thing go down some more. And if you get a reset and it resets down here and makes a higher low than this low, then you're showing some accumulation, and you got 3 rising valleys, and you can then eventually strategize a break back higher, right? But for right now, I would probably stay clear of this thing until those momentum oscillators kind of reset themselves. Yeah, you're at support. Can you buy at support? Always buy at support. Okay. Fundamentally, yes. Are there better stocks to play? Yeah, there's better stocks to play. I'll give you a stock that I think is a better play. How about that? HIMX. This is a semiconductor asset. All right. Look at the difference of this chart, right? Like beautiful inverse head and shoulder structure. Your monthly time frame here is breaking a monthly squeeze. Monthly stochastics ticked up. This looks like it's about to break out, like a big wave breakout. Okay. Now, I don't like to typically, trade breakouts like this, but this has been in this structure for like 10 years. This is a 10-year structure. Okay. That is a big structure. It's not a weekly structure. It's not a 3-month quarterly structure. That is a 10-year pattern, my friend. 10 years of this chop here, and we had this deviation. This was the COVID dump. This was a range deviation that came all the way back in and then based out down here in 2023, 2024. I mean, that to me is, yeah. This thing looks like it's about to blow out, okay? Because look at the quarterly chart. This looks nuts, okay? 3-month stochastic RSI cross up. This is a long-term play. This is not just a day trade. This is a multi-year swing is what I'm looking at here on this, something like this, all right? Maybe, get your entry off your daily or 2-day chart or something, try to get a bottom of a range. But, man, if I was a fund manager looking at something like this, I'd be like, all right, shove it. Hold it for 5 years. Like, structures like this are really hard to come by in traditional markets like this. But this is giving you an idea of what this could potentially do. This is a 700% measured move on this asset. Does it have to do the whole move? No. It could do half the move. That's great. That's a 300%. Could it take some time? Yeah, this could take a couple years to play out. What's going on, Veritas? So yeah, that looks good. I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of these vaccine stocks look like they're ready to do something down here. Look at Moderna, man. Look at the RSI on the weekly. This looks nuts. This looks like it's ready to go. It's got earnings coming up 2 weeks. Stock is wrecked. I mean, at minimum, something like this. Yeah, HIMX. Yeah, that looks really good long term there. Massive inverse head and shoulder structure on 10-year pattern, man. Like, come on. 10 years holding a structure like that, that is mint. That is mint for sure. Yeah, so Moderna, I think, just, man, you got the bottom of the range here. You can trade it to the top of the range here. That's almost 100% movement on price. Who's to say that it can't eventually break out of here? It probably could with this type of momentum coming in on the weekly time frame. You got 1, 2, 3 touch points off the bottom Bollinger like that. That's a huge momentum shift on the weekly time frame, which could take months, right? It takes months. Go to the monthly chart. Also, you can see we're kind of rounding out down here. Hasn't given you a monthly signal just yet. The 3-week probably is about to, your 2-week and 3-week are looking like, man, momentum's bottomed out. I think stuff like this takes some time to play. But, when you're down here at 25 on the weekly 2-week RSI, it becomes low risk too, right? It's low risk down here. You could trade this back up to the top of the channel. Bobby, we went through Convo and Game and AI16Z earlier in the stream. You can rewind the stream a bit. I tried to be as straightforward as I could be with them. I think that they have potentially a lot of downside if you don't start to see reversals in these areas where you're at. I don't see an edge on those charts right now. They made massive runs up, and they're just going to be, in corrective moves down right now. It looks like a lot of them, actually all 3 of them. Does it mean you can't start, DCAing into positions? No, you can. But I think you can really be patient with them and not kind of just FOMO in at some level and like hope that that's the bottom type of thing. Okay. NVO. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Okay, yeah, see, something like this to me looks like, okay, yeah, you oversold on the 2-week time frame. The stock just up only, right? We'll look at Lincoln Dot, dude. Yeah, I'll take a look at it, man. By the way, if you guys do appreciate the content here, that I'm here every week doing this stuff at the willingness of my own heart to give you guys some free content and some free trade setups and some of my outlooks here. Make sure you guys smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and spread the word, man. If you really obviously enjoy what I do here, obviously you keep coming back every week to hear about what I have to say and how I look at these charts and why I analyze it this way, then spread the word, spread the good word. I spent a lot of time here with you guys, so appreciate that. Yeah, NVO. I got nothing bad to say about it. Just went overbought in an uptrend. Yeah, you're at probably a nice area here to start, maybe thinking about entering or taking a position on something like this. I would probably wait till like $60 because like that just seems like a logical place for it to go. I know it sounds like a big drawdown. I mean, that would be a massive drawdown actually, but I don't know. Yeah, your 2-week RSI was oversold. Probably find some bids here, bounce here or something. Yeah, you're already starting to candle here for sure. Yeah, it just looks like an area that could just maybe put a nice bounce in. May not be a full-on reversal. Okay, it might end up just tagging 125 and then maybe one more low to like $60 or something. Then you can start maybe using this level as support and grinding your way back up and out of here. Just kind of like you did down here. The bouncing off the bottom of the support and then kind of accelerating. Something like that. All right. Lincoln Dot. Yeah, I'll take a look at Lincoln Dot. Yeah, so Link tagging this fib extension here at 27 bucks, hasn't been able to break it. Probably because ETH hasn't been able to do anything. So like Link is kind of stuck because, well, Link's an ETH asset. If ETH can start to go or even show some signs of going, then I think Link can start outperforming ETH because, you know, it's an altcoin and it should be able to do that. It's probably one of the better altcoins to own on the ETH chain. I can't say it looks bad. It's just, you know, just kind of sitting up here, you know, ranging. You know, you could come back down maybe one more time, tag these lows again at 21 if you can't break, right? Retag, maybe you get a type 2 return here, double bottom, maybe then go, something like that. Just doesn't look like it's got the momentum to break through here right now. Dot is probably a similar thing. This is a very, very massive underperformer in the market. Kind of a disappointment, really. Polkadot. Really like Polkadot, just hasn't performed, man, at all. It's just very, very heavy. A lot of token supply. They haven't really been doing too much on the development side. I don't know. I mean, I think they're building like Jam Protocol or something that comes out this quarter. So I guess if they deploy that and they start marketing that and it's like actually does something and users start using Polkadot again, then, you know, maybe Polkadot picks up some steam. Yeah, I mean, your monthly stochastics here look fine. My only issue is you got a monthly bearish cross. So like nothing really good comes out of that, you know, except you got your momentum ticked up. That means the price might just sit here. You know, maybe you get one more tag of like the 560s or something. Yeah, nothing good. This doesn't excite me. Flow, yeah. Also another underperformer, fortunately. These alts can't really perform until Bitcoin settles and you know, we really start to see ETH Bitcoin perform, man. These things won't do anything until that happens. And unfortunately, there's so many more tokens in this market, this market cycle, that there's not enough new capital that's coming in to buy up all these other these older assets that have been beaten up already. But yeah, I mean, Flow is it's like a major NFT chain, and you know, this isn't just some shit coin. It's a big chain. It needs adoption for NFTs. This is actually solely reliant on ETH succeeding and pushing for NFTs to succeed again, that narrative to come back. So kind of a disappointment, truthfully, right now. Yep. I mean, dude, this thing is cheap down here. I mean, thing is like it can get cheaper if they wanted to. They can bring it back down to 45 cents. Why not? There's no bids. Sol has already left ETH in the dust. XRP could with its 7-year break. I think Pulse Chain assets are going to crush everything else. How about that? You guys don't want to hear that, I'm sure. I've been really just accumulating a lot of Pulse Chain assets these days. This wrap Bitcoin stuff these charts are insane, man. Like they don't look like anything else that I've seen in the market. I didn't cover AVAX now, but here's the wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain, man. All right, check that chart out. How's that thing look? Looks like a monster to me. How about the Aave copy on Pulse Chain? Look at this chart. These charts look nuts, man. Like really, they look nuts. Absolutely insane. So if you're wondering what these are copies of ETH assets that were forked onto Pulse Chain. Like, look at this structure, man. Like this, does this look bearish to you? This looks like a massive cup with handle type of pattern. This thing looks like it's going much higher on the price. Okay. Like, yeah, this is a baby, dude. It's got barely any liquidity, but you don't need to take lots of risk on stuff like this. You can put like $500 in this thing, and like, man, this thing blow out to like $50 because it's going to try to get to parity to the ERC20 token. Like, that's what this chain is. This chain actually really will succeed in a big way once ETH starts to go. So you want to get in these things before ETH starts to go. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Not financial advice. I got a lot of risk in this chain, and there's a reason for it because I see a lot of really good stuff happening here. You look at the TVL chart; it's about ticked up here. A lot of these assets look like they're ready to blow out. Yeah, I mean, they're going to maybe pull back right now. A lot of them did just make some major moves, like shorter time frames here look overbought. Daily time frames overbought, top of the range here on Aave. Yeah, massive weekly bullish engulfing candle put in. Probably going to see continuation sometime this week. How do you trade on Pulse Chain? It's a great question. So all you need to do is get yourself some Ethereum, bridge it on over to Pulse Chain using the Pulse Chain bridge. You need like a Web3 wallet, like a MetaMask or a Rabby wallet. I would recommend using a Ledger device if you have one, to kind of mitigate your risk that way. And then you can use what's called PulseX. PulseX is the DEX on Pulse Chain. I think PulseX is probably the easiest play you can make. Like, you know what? You want exposure to Pulse Chain? You just buy the DEX, because the DEX is the casino. It's like owning Radium on Solana, but actually bigger. PulseX is actually a $5 billion market cap down here. Okay. Man, I'm not getting paid to show this stuff. All right. I really think that this chain has a lot of potential, and not a lot of people know about it. And it's going to be nuts, man. Like, this chain is just going to do some really stupid things. And, if you're stuck in some of these other, chains like AVAX and these underperformers, man, maybe just think about, other roles in the market. Here's PulseX, okay? PulseX, a $4.87 billion market cap. That's no joke, dude. That's a lot of market cap. And like, this thing right now is setting up for higher lows. Okay, yeah, we've made some highs here. We pulled back, but this is now making a higher low. Do you guys see what I'm seeing here? Weekly stochastic RSI cross up. Man, like, to me, this is a massive triangle. It's a 1900% measured move if you break this pattern. What does that put the market cap at? 20x from here? 100 bill? That's crazy, bro. So let's just say it does 10x. Okay? So it goes to a $50 billion market cap. You got some meme coins that are $50 billion market caps, all right? Market looks like shit. Should we stable up? Dude, do whatever you got to do, man. If you got profits to stable up, you should always be doing that. You don't have to ask me to do that. That's on you. ETH. You don't want to buy ETH on Pulse Chain. You just move your ETH from ETH to Pulse Chain to use as a swapping mechanism to get into some of these assets. Yeah, so Pulse Chain looks pretty solid, man. I mean, like, a lot of these assets look like, like what? They're going to pull back. A lot of them just ripped out like 80, 90% in these last couple days here. So pullbacks, yeah, definitely. High time frames look solid though. Like weekly charts look great. Big moves coming here in the coming weeks for a lot of these assets. Cool. What else you guys got? We've been live for almost an hour here tonight. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Is Sol and XRP available on Pulse Chain? No. Sol is its own chain. XRP also its own chain. The assets that are on Pulse Chain are anything that was on ETH, anything that was on Ethereum before or after the fork. So any of those assets. Yep. Oh, you guys wanted to look at Avalanche, right? Or something? Somebody asked about that before I got into the Pulse Chain stuff. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Avalanche. Man, Avalanche 2-month stochastic RSI cross up looks like you might be starting to build some momentum here on the 2-month. Monthly chart, kind of just wavering a lot, like a lot of these other altcoins. Haven't really been able to catch bids. Your weekly kind of getting reset here, just kind of ranging between this, 40 and 32 region. Yeah, I mean, nothing really to write home about until this thing starts taking out some of these highs for Avalanche. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me if we got some drawdown here this week with that rejection up there on Bitcoin last week going into the inauguration here. Okay. You guys get anything else for me tonight? ADA. Yep. Well, a lot of these alts ran, man. They were all in massive falling wedge patterns, reversal patterns, right? Now they're just kind of stagnating and doing a bunch of nothing burger. Alts are kind of just like, who knows what alts are going to do right now? Because there's a lot of regulatory things happening right now. What are they going to do with stable coins? Some of these also really ripped out and hit certain targets. Like ADA hit a massive target here at $1.25. And I even have it drawn out, man. You could see Cardano come back down to 60 to 80 cents, and that wouldn't be anything surprising to me. I even have it drawn out, for example. Okay. So there's your ADA, man. I mean, making some lower highs here. Yeah, you're trying to make higher lows, but this massive breakout impulse was it for now. Got to $1.30. That's a big move, man. From 30 cents. That's a huge move, right? It would make a lot of sense to come down to tag the 70, 80 cent region, though. That would make a lot of sense to see. We covered it, Bobby. Covered it early. We covered both of them earlier, dude. Go scroll back in the stream, man. I'm about to get off here. Like 5 minutes. We'll look at. I covered all three of those, bro. I covered them all. I actually covered them for you earlier in the stream. LMND, we'll take a look at it. Yeah, 11.8. All right. Okay, Lemonade got some daily bull div down here. All right, I like that. Your weekly time frame, you're getting a bit of a reset. That's good. Yep. Oh wow, you went right to tag the bottom of that range. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right, cool, man. So what? What have you done? Where are we at on this chart? Right at fib level, $32. This looks like a level. Yep, this looks like a level where you could maybe start to get some bids. You got the daily bull div. It looks like you're starting to base out here. You could definitely strategize taking a trade right here with that divergence. That looks good. You've got an edge on the chart. Like that, guys, is so important to have an edge on the chart. All right. So yeah, stop loss below, 29.50, swing it back up to the top of the range. Beautiful. 4.5 to 1 risk to reward. That's beautiful, man. That's what you want. At least a 3 to 1 risk to reward. We don't know if it's going to break the top of the range. We don't need to. We don't need to. Doesn't necessarily have to do that. It could just get back up to here, $46. Beautiful trade. You could just trade an option or something, a quarterly option, and get back up there and make a nice trade for yourself. Or you could just swing the shares, man. That's almost 100% move up back up to the top of the range. That looks great. Man, I remember talking about LN, whatever this is, down here at like fucking $12 when it like bottomed out. I'm sure you remember. We were talking about it. This was a wedge pattern. I remember it being a wedge pattern. It was a wedgie. Yeah, it was a wedgie right here at $12, bottom of the wedge. We had a big edge on the chart. I remember we gave the trade setup. Boom. Went to 25, came back to retag it. That was the bottom. See you later on the stock. I remember it. It was good. Yeah, node wedgies, man. Yep. Fun times, man. Fun times on some of these stocks. Yep, definitely. NVIDIA. We'll take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, man. NVIDIA. What's NVIDIA going to do? Yikes. Yeah. Just continuing to reject the top of the range. You could just gap filled on Friday, down 3%. Nancy Pelosi dumped her bag and she rolled into something else, just FYI. Yeah, these AI agents aren't going to perform unless NVIDIA is performing there, Bobby. So just remember that. And NVIDIA is like the asset. If this thing is strong like a bull, then your AI agents are going to be as strong like a bull. All right. Yeah, I think NVIDIA is fine on the weekly though. Like not really anything to be too concerned about just yet. It could just end up being range bound here, up here. Multiple rejections up here though isn't the best thing to see. Yeah, I mean, we could end up getting a break on this range. Just depends on how this market opens this week. You got multiple rejections up here. 1, 2, lower high 3. Just looks like maybe you come back down to like 130s, retest this. If you can make higher lows here and start showing accumulation again, then they can really take this thing out. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing, but it might take some time. All right. NVIDIA. All right. What else, guys? We got 11 people watching the stream tonight. Thank you guys so much. Remember, tips are always appreciated too. I'm not like sitting here asking for guys' tips or anything like that, but that always cheers me up and makes me feel appreciated for what I do here. Harmony 1. Yeah, sure. Let's take a look at it. Wow, man. Always coming in with the tips, dude. Appreciate that, bro. This looked great down here, man. It really looked great at the bottom of the range. I remember actually giving this trade setup on this. Yeah, we tagged this fib. We're at a fib level right now. I just don't really. Yeah. Weekly MACD cross down. Probably just some consolidation in this region. This is another weak asset. I really just wouldn't be putting my hard-earned money into something like this right now, personally. The Pulse assets just look phenomenal. I have nothing bad. I can't say anything bad about them. They look great. My wedge is making your retirement, brother. That's wonderful to hear, man. I'd love to hear that stuff. That's great, dude. Love it, man. I'll have to get down to Florida one of these days and visit you and you guys down there. My bro is down there too, so I could make a trip or something. Maybe after this run, we'll do something. Cool, man. Yeah, Harmony 1, back to that. Just, I don't know, man. The RSI is in a region where it could go break bullish, could break bearish more. To me, it just looks like, you're going to maybe sideways it here. Weekly time frame, still pointing down. Wait for that weekly reset. This weekly reset's going to give you that momentum on the weekly time frame, which will then push the 2-week and the 3-week and the monthly back up. The weekly time frame is very important, guys. So if you're not getting signals on the weekly, you're probably not going to get too much movement on the price in the direction that you want to see. Anyway, V-Chain. Take a look at V-Chain. Probably a lot of the same for these assets. They all made major pushes, major runs from their range lows there. And yeah, just probably... I actually drew it out. It actually came back to the level, man. It's at the level right now. It kind of needs to hold this level. Don't really see much of an edge here. You can see that your MACD is kind of losing some momentum here, right? These green momentum bars are going down. So price should probably continue in the direction that it's been going, which is down or sideways. Until we hit a point of major support where buyers just have to step in and support the price. I just don't see any. As long as you end up making higher lows than 2 pennies, man, you're good. Like you could see this thing, we could see this thing draw down to like 3 cents and still be okay because you got, now three higher lows, right? And then maybe this can take up to the next level, 10 cents after that, right? Yeah, just it's not set up on the chart just yet. Maybe some more sideways or down. That's what a lot of these assets look like right now, unfortunately. That's what they look like. You got a select few that look really strong, really good. Maybe stick to those. Or just maybe sit sideline, man. Sometimes taking no trade is the best trade. I'm personally just in a lot of these pulse chain assets. I'm also messing around with some of these meme coins, just trading the volatility on these. I took a position back into this chaos coin, for example. I think it's back down in a value area, so I took a trade on it. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to play out, but the probabilities are a lot higher when you're at bottoms of ranges. And this asset does a decent amount of trading volume. This is high risk, guys. I'm just saying, like, I'm just messing around with this. But every single time it comes down to this bottom of this range, you can see that last time this asset ended up pulling an 860% move in not a long period of time at all. Yep. Yeah, so I started picking up a position down here, right at the range low. We had a bit of this range deviation the other day during that Trump pump. All the liquidity was sucked out of all these altcoins. But if you zoom out on something like this, you can see why I'm kind of trading it. I didn't really like this weekly candle, this long wick like that, rejection. But that doesn't necessarily mean we need to see continued downside. And the reason why I say that is because of where the relative strength is on this asset. Okay. And are we getting a nice 12-hour reset here? It looks like we're getting that. We're getting like a 12-hour reset, 8-hour, 4-hour, right? So this to me looks like I could get a nice pop on this, make a nice 50, 60% move, which to me is nice. It can even just go make a lower high at 3.8, which is a double up. That's great. Like sometimes trading volatility is good. You just have to know which ones to trade. And so I think this one might do something like that. So I decided to pick up a position on this. Very easy to strategize stop loss here just to cut the trade. Well, I mean, you get look. So my entry is I think around this 1-2 region or 1-3 region, whatever my average is. I think my position is down 20% right now or something. Not a big deal. So what? My downside risk here is about 32%, but my upside potential is to the top of the range, which is almost an 8 or 9 to 1 risk to reward. That's phenomenal, dude. Like, if you get anything better than a 3 to 1, you should probably take the trade. All right, any asset, not just a meme coin, just any asset, giving you that type of risk to reward. So, Cool. I'm about done here, giving you guys the spiels on what I do and what I look for. But if you guys want to learn more, or you're interested in how I do these things, or you're even interested in the trade calls that I give, make sure you guys join the community, the Swing Trade Pros community, swingtradepros.com. Check out the alert service. You can check out some of the indicator packages we have. Those are pretty helpful tools. We got a couple dudes in here like Wildman and Flap that have been with me for I don't know how many years. They're yearly subscribers, and well, man, that guy just said that my wedge patterns are paving his way through retirement. Okay, that's saying something, and I really appreciate that. And I'm sure there's plenty of other people that sit on this stream that are kind of just lurkers that have been around and made some money here and there or whatever they've done. And so, yeah, I appreciate everyone that is tuned in and continues to tune in. And we'll continue the content. I enjoy doing this. I will continue doing it with or without you guys anyway. So you might as well just be with me, and that's it. All right. Cool. Appreciate all you guys' time and support along the way here. And I like to tell it like it is, too. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat something. If I don't think the chart looks good or I think I'm not confident about it, then you'll know and you'll hear it in my voice. All right. If I like the chart, you'll also hear it in my voice. But remember, man, this is trading. Anything can happen in these markets. Remember to always manage your risk. That's always important. Always have an idea of where you would want to cut your trade. If you can't set a stop loss, like on this meme coin, I'm not using a bot. So I'm just looking at these levels. And if this thing ends up breaking these lows, okay, I take my 30% L and move on with my life and find another trade and preserve the rest of that capital for another trade. And that's it. That's all you can do in this game. It's a game of probability and trying to find some edges on the chart to give you a reason to take a trade, right? Like LMND looked great. Daily bullish divergence at a major Fibonacci level, pulled back nicely, making a higher low. That is all setting up for higher prices. That is what that chart is saying to me, okay? Some of these other altcoins that were presented tonight, hit or miss, man. Like some of them might just go and reverse where they're at because they're at major supports. Just really depends on what Bitcoin ends up doing. If Bitcoin ends up collapsing or pulling back, these altcoins are going to get smashed, dude. They just are. Like they're not like high demand assets. Bitcoin is the only asset that's really high in demand. It's the market leader. So if the market leader is not performing, then how do you think these other alts are going to perform? Like this trade may not play out, man. This thing might just continue to get wrecked. This weekly chart looked awful. I just showed you that. It didn't look good at all. This 3-day chart also didn't look good. Nasty fucking rejection candle. May not play out. May only just end up going back up to the top wick or something close to this. Maybe even only do a 30% move. But you know what? That 30% move gets me out of the trade too. So I will be closely monitoring that. I end up taking a risk here. I know the risk that I'm taking in on this trade, but zooming out on something like this is important too, because like, look where it's at. It looks like it's at its bottom, right? It's not like I'm taking a risk on this thing. It's all the way up here and it's making these long wicks up here. No, it's down here at the bottom of a range. Looks like the bottom of the asset, a very depressed meme coin asset. And yeah, I mean, here we go. We got selling coming in. This guy just dumped $7,000. Yeah, so like this trade may not play out. I have to monitor it. All right, just keeping it real. That's it. Catch you guys next week. Hopefully we don't see that much selling this week, but who knows how this is going to play out. All right. Anything else before I jet? We need risk on. Yeah, we need it, dude. We need this whole market to give us a reason to see that. We need to see some more liquidity coming in, though. That's what we need. So, all right, gentlemen, ladies. Catch you guys next week. We'll see. I think the rest of this quarter should be strong for the risk asset market. Hopefully we see some reversals in crypto. We'll see how it goes.